Now we're going to talk about how we can classify bones based on their structure or their shape. And so let's see, the first one we're going to talk about are long bones. And long bones, exactly what it's named for. These bones are longer than they are wide, all right? So they are longer than they are wide. These long bones are primarily found in the appendicular skeleton, so bones that make up the arms and the legs. This over here is showing you an example. This is the humerus, which is the bone that's found in the brachial region of the human body. Your forearm region, that would be made up of the ulna and the radius. Those are both long bones. Your phalanges, so the bones that are found in the digits, those are considered long bones. Your femur, which is in the femoral region, that's a long bone. The tibia and the fibula, which are in the lower leg region, those are also long bones. So again, they're primarily found in the appendicular skeleton, and they are longer than they are wide. Next category of bone shapes, we'll see there are short bones. Short bones now they're not perfect cubes by any means, but roughly they are the same length as they are as width, right? So roughly equal on all sides, so they're cube-ish shaped, right? These short bones you find primarily in your carpals and your tarsals. So remember, carpals are the bones that make up your wrist. Tarsals are the bones that make up your ankles. This is showing you the trapezium. This is a carpal bone, more specifically the carpal that leads to the thumb. So this is an example of a short bone. So roughly equal length on all sides. No, it's not a perfect cube, but it's cube-like. The next category are flat bones. Flat bones are thin, broad bones. Examples of flat bones include, so this is showing you the sternum, right? So this is the sternum. Also, ribs are considered flat bones. The pelvis, we'll talk about the os coxae, which create the hip bones and the pelvic bones, these big bones. Those are considered flat bones, and most bones of the skull as well, especially the bones that specifically make up the cranium, the outer portion of the cranium, those bones are flat bones. So they're thin, broad bones. Irregular bones are pretty much bones that really don't fall into the category of being flat or short or long, and so they have irregular shapes to them and don't really fall into the other categories. Examples of irregular bones are vertebrae. So this is showing you a vertebrae down here. These are the bones that make up your spinal column. You can't see it, but there is a cavity back here that's created by this bone, and that hole would be where the spinal cord would be running through it. So this is a vertebra. Some other irregular bones are certain bones of the skull, especially the facial skeleton. So when you learn about the bones, you'll learn about the zygomatic bone and the mandible, the maxillary bones. Those are all examples of irregular bones. So they have an irregular shape to them. They don't really fit into the other classes. Sesamoid bones. Sesamoid means round. So these are round bones or sesamoid bones, and these are specialized bones that are located within tendons. And the example of a sesamoid bone, really the only example of a sesamoid bone that we have in the body, is the patella. So your quote-unquote kneecap, right? So the patella is a sesamoid or a round bone that's pretty smooth, roughly oval in shape, and it's embedded in tendons. And what it does is it helps give a mechanical advantage and allows the muscles in that area to have more leverage. So this is the patella. Again, that's a sesamoid or a round bone. And this is just an image summarizing the categories of bones based on their shape. So if I were to, how I could ask this on the test is I might give you a picture of a bone, but by the time you have the exam Yeah, I'll probably because you won't have learned the entire skeleton just yet, how I'll ask this on the test is I would give you a picture of a bone and then ask you to classify it based on its shape. Okay?